Hello everybody and welcome to Creativity Time. My name is Tatiana. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia, and today we will be crafting with the brand new suite, Cheerful Daisies. It is a suite, but I've only got the bundle, which means the stamp set and the dies. And this is from the Stampin' Up! 2023 to 2024 annual catalogue. So let's flip down and take a look. This is the catalogue, and you'll find this suite on page 110. The suite includes the designer series paper, which is called Fresh as a Daisy, and also the adhesive backed solid gems, neither of which I have, but I do have the bundle, so the Cheerful Daisies bundle. I've got to admit the color combo here isn't quite my colors, so I'm going to put a Tatiana twist on it essentially, which just basically means let's use brighter colors. I was playing with it in the wee hours of this morning. Couldn't sleep, so I decided to get up and craft, and I thought it'd be a fun one to use today. And also I thought it would be nice to create a an easel card, because it's been a while and they're one of my favorite cards to create. I love a landscape easel card, so I hadn't thought about colors yet. I definitely want something brighter. Ooh. I know it would be nice and bright to start with. Ooh, or yeah, let's do this. So Tahitian Tide, which I haven't got a full sheet there, so I'm going to just snip open my brand new pack. There we go. And grab a sheet. I need one sheet of A4. And I'll need a paper trimmer. So because it's going to be a landscape card, I'm going to cut the cardstock this way in half, which is at 14.85, and then I'm going to score at 10.5. And that creates my card base, and then I'm going to move that and score again at about 5.5. It doesn't hugely matter exactly where I score that bit, but as long as it's scored, and that'll start the easel. And then I'm going to cut this one in half, so that's at 10.5, and that'll be my card front. And then I like to use a strip. Let's see. What sentiment? Wishing you a happy birthday, I think. And so, I want to make sure the sentiment for this strip is big enough for the sentiment. So I'm just going to measure it. It's about, let's try 2 centimeters. Hopefully that'll be enough. We can always cut it again. Okay, so that's that bit done. Put that to the side, and I have a piece of basic white here, which we'll use on the inside, as so, and that will sit across there. And I'm trying to think what I would like to do. So let's fold this while I ponder exactly. Grab a bone folder. So that's the card base, and then we've got the second score, which I'm going to burnish. And I'm not going to stick these in because I might want to stamp them, but by placing that, and then this will be popped up on dimensionals, which will allow the card front to hook up, and that becomes the easel. And thinking that will sit there. So that'll become the easel card, and then it'll fold down flat as so. And I am loving pinks, and I'm loving the new bubble bath. Do we want pink daisies? Or yeah, let's do some pink daisies. And what we're going to do is stamp the outline. So I'm going to grab some basic white. Let's see. This piece, maybe this piece, might need this piece. And I'm going to grab a foam mat because this is a photopolymer stamp set, meaning that it doesn't have any foam, and by putting a foam mat underneath, it gives you a little bit of a better imprint. Hi Krista, no worries. We are creating with the Cheerful Daisies, and what we're creating is an easel card, and what it'll look like, I have no idea. If you've watched me before live or watching the recording, you'll learn that I do not pre-design before I go live. I just see what happens. So I'm going to do that daisy. Let's put that to the side. And I want a smaller daisy outline. I'm going to ink that and stamp. Fantastic. And I'll do all three, which is this one, which is the side-on daisy, I guess you could call it. And so I'm just using the bubble bath out for the outline, and now I'm just going to grab a little bit of grid paper here so that I can stamp off. Turn it around there, and we are going to take the filler. Now the filler stamps, and what we'll do is, thank you Krista, we're going to grab, let's use a sponge dauber, Daffodil Delight. So there's my sponge dauber. I don't have one for every color, but one day if I need, and I just label them so that way I know which one it's for. And so I'm going to grab my Daffodil Delight ink pad. I'm going to close the bubble bath, and I'm going to ink the inside. Kind of bring that out, but not all the way to the tips. I want the tips to be almost white, but because we've got the outline, it doesn't matter. So you can see, well, you can see I've used a darker pink on this, but now I'm just going to line it up with the outline, and there we go. So we've got the outline and the pink. That might be a little bit further than I wanted it, but that's okay. Let's do the next one. We'll do the smaller. And again, as so. So it's going to look a slightly different every time you stamp it, just because you can't add the ink exactly. I'm just trying to find the right angle there. So just take your time. Yay! And then this one. Does the leaf have an outline? No. So the leaves will have to do a solid color. Well, they don't have to, but we'll do solid color. And again, we want this closer to the middle of the flower, so I'm just putting the ink there, lining it up. So, and then there's insides. So I'm going to just stamp them in the daffodil. This time it'll be just stamping direct, so it's a bit darker. I don't know if that is being picked up by the camera, but because I stamped that and that was sponged on, it is a little bit darker. So it gives you a little bit of a different, and there's only, well, not only, the other two flowers use the same middle. There. And we need some leaves. And there's this leaf. And I'm thinking, which green? Granny apple green. Oh, I know. Granny apple green with a little bit of sponging of Pretty Peacock, which I don't think I have a sponge dauber anymore. Oh look, I have my old Pretty Peacock one. I didn't take it away, so excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna ink my leaf in Granny Apple Green, and then I'm going to pick up some Pretty Peacock and add it. Yeah, that's better. To the leaf, and then stamp, and that gives you a two-toned leaf. Important bit is you're going to have to clean your stamp in between each time, just because you don't, if I was to not clean that, the Pretty Peacock ink would end up in my Granny Apple Green ink pad, and I would not be particularly happy because I don't want my ink pads mixing. That are clean. Don't know how many leaves we'll need, so I always like to stamp a few extras. So have you tried this? Have you added ink with a sponge daubler or a blending brush to your stamps before? And if you have, what's your favorite color combo? And have you ever done more than 2 colors? I'll admit I've only ever done 2 colors, but there is nothing to say that you cannot do more. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear the results you've had. And I like to keep the leaves as odd numbers, so that's 5 there. That'll work perfectly. We've done the majority of the stamping. There. Okay, put that to the side. And this will be our card front. So I was thinking, which way does that daisy go? Like a little pile of daisies. Well, not pile. What would you call it? A bouquet, that's the word. I can't believe I forgot the word. Bouquet. That's crazy. Oh, I like it. You love this set? It is pretty, isn't it? I really like that positioning. Just trying to find a little bit of can't find it. Press and seal so that I could hold that together. But it seems that I've moved it. I don't know where to. Ah, here it is. Excellent. So I've got some press and seal here that's been used before, but that will help me keep that. I know I didn't grab that last leaf, but ooh, it's okay. That leaf can go. There. We know that's there and those will be there. Okay, awesome. And I wanted to do something in the background, which I'm not sure if it's going to work. Well, not so much work, but if I like the look of it. going to do some itty bitty daisies, tone on tone. Oh, actually I might use Versamark because it'll be a lighter tone on tone. Okay. So I'm keeping that. So this is the convenience of having the press and seal. I'm gonna, just because photopolymer sometimes doesn't give you that perfect first imprint, just gonna give that a bit of a clean. I feel like I need to stamp it somewhere. I know. I'm gonna just stamp it on this because this is going to be stuck. Well, it'll be hidden. So that's Versamark. Is that too subtle? I will grab the Tahitian Tide. I'm just going to scrape some of it to the side so that it's not a heavy ink pad. Give that a clean. And now try. I do prefer. See, that was those two were Versamark, but I prefer the Tahitian Tide ink because it's a bit darker. So I've tested it out, and do you know what? This panel will stick to that right there, so it's not going to be visible. Oh, but I do need the front panel. So we're going to have our daisies there, and we're going to stamp some daisies in the background. So that'll go there. Maybe another one up here. Just creating some depth. Let's see. I think some right there would go well. Excellent. I'm liking that. That's filled it out, hasn't it? It's given that a bit of layering, and that adds a little bit of depth, and I'm really happy with just that. So I'm going to close that ink pad, and now we're going to flip that over, and we're going to add dimensionals to daisies. Did I add it to the leaves? Yes, I did. Whoop. And they moved away there. Now I can peel back that. And from memory, we had some leaves down here. I'm going to flip them over, have them joining together so we can join them together with a dimensional. Isn't that cheeky? And then remove the backing and slide that under. And then one just there. I've got a dimensional without a backing, so I'm going to use that. Slightly mispositioned that. That's all right. Tuck that one in right there. So that'll be the card. Krista, it is called, what's it called? Press and Seal. It's not readily available in Australia. I'm not sure where you're located, but you can get it from Costco. Costco sells 3 of these boxes in a pack, and they will last you a while. So what I do is when I've used a piece, I've got this clear plastic sleeve, which I've got them stuck down. So it is by Glad, and it's like Glad wrap, but it's got a stickiness. It's got tack to one side. So this side is not tacky, but the side that my finger's on is, And that just held my arrangement together, and I was able to lift it all up, as you saw, and put it all back down. So it's really a fun, it's not a crafting product. It's just something that Jennifer Maguire started using in her crafting, and people have caught on, and I've really loved it. So when I went to New Zealand, they sell it at Woolworths, or their equivalent of Woolworths, and I got myself quite a bit of it. Well, not quite a bit. I've had that box since then, so that's before COVID. That was 2019. So it's lasted me some time. And now I'm going to, so this sentiment strip was going to go on the inside of the card. And I know that sounds funny, but that's where. And when you have the card as an easel, you're going to see the sentiment. So I'm going to put the sentiment on the left because the flower arrangement is a bit on the right. So kind of like flowing it across on a diagonal. And I'm using the Wishing You the Brightest Birthday. And we'll stamp that in Tahitian Tide on Tahitian Tide cardstock. The other option is you could white heat emboss it. I'm choosing not to do that because I didn't want to introduce another element. I just wanted to use what we're already using. But if you felt like you could, you wanted to, go for it. It will emboss beautifully. Okay, and before I stick this down, I'm thinking I would like, because if that's going as so, and that'll be there, and that'll be there, and that'll be there. But I think I would like a little daisy popping out from behind that. So we'll do the kind of the half daisy. So we started with Bubble Bath as the outline. That's right there. And then we used Daffodil Delight, sponge daubered on. Sponge daubers are really good value. Can't remember their full price, but I think it's like $6. Do I have it written down? No. And you get a pack of 5. So you'll be able to use that for 5 different colors. Now. And then we used the center in Daffodil Delight as well. So add that daisy, and then that'll be right there. But enough to have one daisy. I think so. It's not going to show when the card is. Ah, leaf. No. So I'm not sure if I like the daisy. What do we think? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you would like the daisy. So with the daisy inside the card. So give me a thumbs up, or give me a love heart if you would prefer without the daisy. Just going to give that a moment to catch up on the screen. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? So that's without, which is a love heart. Roz has given me a thumbs up. Oops. Anyone else with the daisy? Oh, Krista's given me a love heart now, so that's 1 vote for each. Someone needs to break it. Tiebreaker. Please. No tiebreakers out there? Oh, I have to be the tiebreaker. I preferred it without. So we'll go without. Okay. Moving on. Closing my ink pad. Grabbing my glue. you both have commented in the opposite way to how you initially voted. That's too cute. Both do work, but I ever so slightly preferred without. But we will stamp another daisy on the envelope. So there'll be just a little bit more stamping to go. Where are the dimensionals? There they are. So now I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of my sentiment strip. And this will act as a catch for the easel as well. So it's dual purpose. I'm making sure that's the right way up. And I'm not measuring, but to me, I've eyeballed and it looks about right or correct. So that's how that'll catch. If you can see, it creates this little triangle catch. And there we go. Now I can add some adhesive. And so I added it to the card base because that way I know I'm only adding it to the half that we don't want to stick it down to this half, otherwise it'll be all flat and it's not going to fold for that easel catch. But then the easel, by having that cut front panel separate, that adds that height and the fall. And we do need to add some bling. And for me, bling that works everywhere are the iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. They are just perfect for pretty much every project. So I'm going to add 3 over here, and then 2 just there. Just gives it that little bit of sparkly goodness. Just a little there. And we need to decorate the envelope. So I'm thinking the big daisy in the top left-hand corner. Just grabbing some grid paper. Again, starting with the outline in bubbled bath. There, and then grabbing the filler and Daffodil Delight. Lining up those petals. I got a softer look this time. Could even spread that out a bit. I know I'm going to double stamp. I know it's going to be hard to line up, but it's even given us a two-tone there. And center using a Daffodil Delight. There is the envelope, because no naked envelopes. And the inside's kind of decorated because we've got that, so I'm alright with that. That down. Oops, sorry, printer going off. So there is the card, and here is the bundle again. So it's called Cheerful Daisies, and it can be found on page 111 in the annual catalogue. Shall flip which way? Here we are. What do you think? Would you like to receive that in the mail? I hope so. I love that the birthday wishes are on the inside I like sometimes no sentiment on the outside, though this is definitely a birthday card because of that sentiment. But, you know, there is lots of options you could put. I do like the sentiment here. It says, oopsie daisies, so sorry. What fun would that be to send to someone, like when you do a little bit of a mistake. Oops. Anyhow, thank you so much for joining me. Next week, I don't know what time I'm going to go live, but I'll make an announcement. I'm thinking of rearranging things, so we will see. But otherwise, hopefully 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Thanks so much for joining me, and bye for now.